Welcome in everyone. For today's video, we're going over my top 15 tips and tricks for the Forever Winter for both beginners and veterans alike. There's no particular order for this list as I kinda just jotted them down as I thought of them throughout my playtime, so apologies in advance for the flow not being as smooth as my normal videos. However, as any good list, I've saved the best tip for last, which I'd wager could completely alter the way some of you guys play this game. But without further ado, let's get started. My first tip is to experiment with changing your entry location, as this will also change your exfil location. You can change your entry location by going to the Regions tab and selecting the bottom right option to change entry point. Each entry point has a different exfil point, which may be better or worse depending on the type of run you're planning to do. My second tip is geared more towards new players, and that is to collect 16 water ASAP. 16 water will unlock Bundleton as a vendor who sells rig upgrades and rig upgrade components that increase your carry weight and capacity. Adding to this tip, I'd highly suggest saving up for the equipment runner rig, as it makes doing money runs extremely efficient due to its large carry capacity and 3 large slots. I'm not going to go over where to find water in this guide, but I'll link my beginner water guide in the description, which lists 5 easy ways to find water. My third tip will hopefully help those of you who are still trying to find those drone parts for your third quest. Personally, I found a lot of these drones will spawn in Ashen Mesa near the street entrance, where it's normally always a war zone. Simply wait for the correct drone to spawn and get destroyed and scavenge the remains amidst the chaos. Tip number 4 will come in handy when you eventually meet an untimely demise. You can actually recover your items from your last death by physically going to your death location and interacting with your death box. You'll see this as a little RIP gravestone on your compass and as a little box with your hand sticking out on the floor. Interact with the box and successfully extract in order to recover your weapons, attachments, and rig upgrades. The death box takes no space in your inventory once you pick it up. You can only have one death box at a time, so should you die before recovering your death box, it'll be lost and replaced by your most recent death box. Tip number 5 is for those few times where you need to use a timed extract. As of right now, timed extracts do not time out nor cancel should you go too far from the extract zone. This means that you can start the extract ahead of time, leave to loot the area, then return to an instant extract should you find yourself in a position to do that. I normally do this whenever I go to Scrapyard Nexus. Tip number 6 is that selling things to vendors will increase that faction's reputation and is easily the best way as of now to level your faction reputation. Raising your reputation not only unlocks new items for sale, but will also lower the prices from each faction, meaning you pay less to buy from them. I'd highly recommend leveling your Scav faction reputation first, as this massively decreases the cost for buying new rigs and rig components from Bundleton. And speaking of reputation, tip number 7 is to be careful of what enemies you defeat, as faction reputation will go up and down respectively for eliminated enemies. Should you eliminate a European, then European faction rep will fall and Eurasian faction rep will increase. This applies to the Scav faction as well, but faction rep instead lowers heavily on friendly fire and looting fallen teammates. Tip number 8 isn't much of a tip at all, but I've had a lot of people ask me this one. You do not lose rigs on death, but you do lose any purchased upgraded components such as the high quality containers. Tip number 9 is to be wary of hunter killers, as they can be a nuisance early game. Hunter killers spawn when you loot a high value item, loot a lot of items, eliminate too many enemy forces, or when you've been on the map for too long. They're tanky, have MGs, and will slowly hunt you down while infinitely spawning. However, when you're able to start taking them down, they do have a lucrative amount of loot. Tip number 10 is to make use of the rig equipment once you have some spare large slots. 20mm turrets hit hard should you need extra firepower, tactical camera is decently helpful for scouting ahead for loot and enemies, and pneumatic jump is amazing for navigating around the maps and dealing with the currently clunky movement. Tip number 11 is that you can switch to third person aiming by pushing the Alt key, indicated by your camera slightly zooming in. This is pretty helpful in certain situations, like when you're trying to use a weapon flashlight to light up an area, or should you want to ADS in third person. I'll also add here that you can dash by pushing the left control key while strafing left or right. Dashing does not work when walking forward or backwards. Tip number 12 is that NPC companions you bring along are not that great but are sorta useful in the right scenario. For example, I've only found use for the gunner NPCs in the Scrapyard Nexus money farm, as they tend to get obliterated anywhere else. However, the pack mule may be useful when starting out, as it can act as a cheap and early backpack upgrade due to its large capacity and could double as a meat shield thanks to its large HP pool. You can command your NPCs around with the B button, so you could alternatively plant the pack mule down somewhere safe and deposit your hauls as you loot the map. Tip number 13 is that you may find it easier to pick up something if you simply ADS at it. I find this helps a lot when trying to grab items off shelves, and sometimes when picking up guns off the floor. Tip number 14 is that you should prestige your characters as often as possible, as the increased health and movement speed really do add up, to the point where your health will double or even triple. And my last tip, number 15, is to use the silencer with your gun. It may not sound like it works currently, but it 100% does. Using a silencer drastically reduces the range at which enemies hear and investigate your shots, which exponentially increases your survivability in-game. Silencers even allow you to pick off enemies one by one without alerting nearby enemies, as long as you can one-tap headshot them, even if they're standing right next to each other. Without a silencer, you're likely to attract the attention of the entire battlefield when you shoot. but with a silencer, the most you'll attract is the squad of enemies you shot at. This allows you to be a lot more aggressive with how you play the game, while still keeping you extremely safe. I'll even toss in a bonus tip with this one, which is currently most normal enemies can be stun locked to death. Enemies will physically recoil when hit with a bullet, and you can use this to your advantage to take out tougher opponents such as a hunter killer by simply rhythmically tapping their head until they fall. If you guys found this video helpful, make sure you like and subscribe, as it lets me know that I'm making good content that you guys want to see. And before we head out, I wanted to ask you guys to share your biggest tips and tricks advice, whether it be for a new player or for a rugged veteran, and potentially pass on some unknown knowledge to another scavenger out there. Good luck guys, and happy scavenging.